Streaming movies and television has come a long way over the last several years. Faster internet speeds, instant access to thousands of titles online, the ability to watch in premium formats like IMAX Enhanced and Dolby Vision has given physical media a run for its money. With so much high-quality content at our fingertips, is there still a place for physical media? To help answer this question is Skywalker Sound Chief of Engineering, Steve Morris. First, let's delve into the reasons why streaming isn't a bad option these days. Convenience is probably the biggest one for everybody. With a few clicks of a remote or taps on your game console controller, you could have whatever you want to watch up and running in less than a minute. Not only that, but the quality isn't too bad either. Over the last several years, surround sound has become fairly standard on streaming platforms, with Dolby Atmos becoming a staple on a lot of streaming services. Dolby Vision and HDR10 are also widely available, making streaming a movie in pretty decent quality a fairly easy ordeal for just about everybody. With internet speeds getting faster and faster, there will come a day when streaming will eventually equal the quality of physical media. Streaming today is superior to what DVD ever had for the most part when you think about the ability to stream 4K HDR onto a cell phone. On top of that, movies on Disney Plus can be streamed in IMAX Enhanced or Dolby Vision, whereas if you buy a 4K UHD Blu-ray from Disney, you'll be stuck with only static HDR10 on the disc. I would venture to say that my movies streamed from Disney Plus through my Apple TV device look better than the disc versions. Alongside the visuals, some streaming platforms like Disney Plus, Apple TV, and Amazon Prime are getting better with adding special features, something that used to be somewhat exclusive for the disc market. With all these positives, why even bother with buying physical 4K disc anymore? Well, for starters, many of you have really nice TVs and sound systems and want the absolute best viewing experience. You may not care about the digital version of a comedy, but you sure as hell want the experience when watching an action movie. It's not just about enjoying a good story or the acting, it's about enjoying the entire experience with something bigger than a 7-inch cell phone screen. You know how when you go to a store and you see all those TVs lined up and the image looks absolutely jaw-dropping? The images being displayed aren't being streamed. They're almost always being played back from some kind of central digital player kept in the back of the room. These video files are gigantic and uncompressed and contain an insane amount of data to make the images look impressive. That level of clarity and quality can't happen when streaming a movie. For one, internet speeds today aren't fast enough to stream movies at the level needed. Let's take Netflix or Apple TV for starters. Netflix and Apple servers will top out at streaming movies at 25 megabits a second. Compare this to a 4K disc where action scenes can go well above 100 megabits a second. Compare this to a 4K disc where action scenes can go above 100 megabytes a second. What's in all that extra data, you ask? The most important thing to me personally is the sound. When streaming a movie, the first thing to get cut is sound quality to make way for better visuals.
I mean, the visuals always take up far more bandwidth, and this was true in the discs market as well, with DVDs and Blu-rays, where the visual, you can scale the visual quality based on bit rate. You can also do that with sound. And the higher the bit rate, the better the quality. And the visuals always take much higher bit rate than the sound does by many times. And you only have so much either streaming bandwidth or so much space on your disc to fit all of that. So there was always compromise being made between the visual and the sound based on that. Based on the content and what they needed to do. I know that Netflix themselves updated their bitrate for 5.1 to make it higher because people noticed that the sound quality could be better and was better on discs, True HD or DTS, which is lossless. We're in streaming right now. That's still too much bandwidth on the sound side of things. So the sound's compromised. But as bandwidth gets better, hopefully we'll get up to those lossless codecs at some point.
This isn't to say that you'll lose surround sound, but rather the bit rate of the audio files will be coming in at lower resolutions, thus degrading the quality of the sound. If your internet speed is terrible, you'll even get sent stereo sound versus surround sound. How big are sound files for a movie? When working on sound files, Moore said these types of files are uncompressed and measure in the gigabytes.
Because sometimes they'll change the bit rate of the sound based on how much space is left from the picture, which is unfair. But I mean, they're always trying to squeeze as much bit rate on the picture as they possibly can, and that's where the sound sometimes will be compromised. Because often a disc can hold multiple bit streams for sound, so you could have the AC3 for 5.1 or the Dolby Atmos bit stream, and you could have the stereo on there as well, because that was a specific mix that we made for stereo. But frequently the stereo is not included because it just takes up more space. And it's not a lot of space, but really you're trying to squeeze as much out of it as you possibly can.
But sound isn't the most important thing most people worry about. After the sound quality has been knocked down a couple of pegs, the next thing to get axed is the visual quality. This is where you'll start seeing the difference between the TVs in stores and the one in your house. Those 50 plus megabits of extra data a second make the difference between a movie looking and sounding good to looking and sounding incredible. The reduced data from streaming means you won't get as much details and shadows, reduced color brilliance, you'll notice color banding, color posterization, and even reduced resolution at times. So even if you have an uninterrupted fantastic internet speed and no interruptions in connectivity during non-peak hours, you still won't get the full image or sound because Netflix and others have caps on their internet download speeds. Not to mention, your internet service provider may have their own cap on your streaming speeds if you have data limitations, or maybe they place caps on speeds during peak hours during the day. Another pro of owning a physical copy of your favorite movies is that you don't have to worry about streaming services removing your beloved content. You'll have it forever. Some companies have been known to do this after you've purchased a digital copy through their platform. While it does happen less and less these days, it's still a possibility. Speaking of digital copies of movies, almost every 4K Blu-ray comes with a digital copy of your movies, so if you're feeling too lazy to pop in a disc, you still have a digital copy as well. One great added bonus of buying physical media is that manufacturers sometimes make really neat collector sets or make some special editions where some nifty bonus memorabilia items are included. Let me know in the comment section below if you still buy movies on 4K disc. This is Movie University, education in cinema.